Hey guys, and welcome back to Building Habits. In case you're new here, this is a series where I introduce a set of rules you should try and follow in every game you play. The goal is to teach you strong fundamental principles that we will improve upon as we go. This series is my personal take on how to improve in chess, starting from 400 ELO all the way up to 2000 ELO and beyond. I'm going to choose a series of rules that I have to follow. What you might notice is that you will miss chances to play winning moves. That's okay. The goal here is to focus on the fundamentals, and I'm trying to get you guys to build good habits and play high percentage moves that will help you increase your rating. Florence Floyd. Damn, the homie. The homie. All right, e4. We know it's e5. We know it's e5. At what ELO are you allowed to play en passant? Well, you'll see. You'll see. There's more stages to this. Obviously, I'm going to be adding more. But for now, I think you guys get the hang of it. Bishop there. Well, like I said, I'll be playing this. So now, someone has finally played this move. I haven't seen this. At my level, I've never experienced this. Everyone has to experience it once. Got to get KO'd by this move. This is called the fried liver attack. This is going to hurt. He's attacking my pawn. How can I defend this pawn? D5, of course, is going to come to mind. It's the only move. We all know. We all know it's the only way to try to stop it. And it's the only move that's going to come to your mind following the rules that we've seen here. The other thing is bishop c5, knight there, and just unfortunately lose some material. Now, we all know there's lots of responses to this, but based on the things I've outlined here, I think probably this is the reasonable one. And take it back, of course. Knight takes f7. Basically, I assume my opponent's an idiot at this point. That's a free piece for me. Thanks. Bottaflocka, tier 3, 56 months. Thank you, Bottaflocka. Okay, he's checked me. What have I talked about? Do we put the king in the center? Do you remember the last time we got checked? Where did we go? Oh yeah, we went to g8. Don't bring the king to the center. We're not in the endgame yet. Oh, bishop takes d5. This is fine. How come when I click my king, there's no dots? There's supposed to be a few fucking dots there at chess.com. Maybe a bug. I seem to have castled very well this game. I don't see any dots. There's no dots. Great. Now, why did I let that happen? Because number one, it's probably happened to you. It's happened to all of us. I'm sure it's happened to me when I was 400. We all have suffered a nasty KO to this opening. And it's something that you need to learn quickly or it's going to keep destroying you. It is. You need to learn it. But actually seeing this happen to you and then going, all right, I lost that game. Let's click analyze. Let's see what's going on here. To analyze this game and see that your opponent played with 99.7% accuracy, like, you're just like, what the hell? I actually just got rolled. Like, this is insane. This guy's like a grandmaster or something. Literally. 99.7. It's like, what am I supposed to do against that? Look at my report. I played 6 book moves, 1 best move, and 1 blunder. And I lost the goddamn game. It's ridiculous. I played 6 book moves and 1 blunder. I lose. 6 book moves. Like, what kind of book are you guys following? You guys are leading me to a cliff. So I know that you guys have fallen for it. I've fallen for it. You have to take a KO like that to really understand that these are all book moves. But what book are we following? Why is this in the book? Knight d5 book? Why is that in the book? This is disgusting. Chess.com's out here trolling me. Hey, knight d5. Yeah. Congrats, buddy. That's a book move. Buddy, that's lost is what that is. That's lost is what that is. Oh, yeah. Queen f6 they recommend. Queen f6, yeah. Queen f6. So queen f6 is not even the top move. Literally king e6 is 0.38. Queen f6 is 2.01. And chess.com is out here recommending queen f6. Number one, in what world is that the best move? Number two, in what world is that book? Get that out of my book. B9 check, I think you said it best. If knight d5 is in a book, it's in a coloring book, because that shouldn't be anywhere near chess theory. Knight takes d5, chess.com's leading me off a cliff. Literally leading me off a cliff here. Just terrible. Just terrible. My God. So, what do you unfortunately just have to take time out of your life and learn? You have to learn that after this move, instead of like, hey, should I play knight there and how do I deal with this and blah, 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 and learn all that, forget the whole thing. Forget the whole thing. Play bishop here. Why? Because they can no longer play this move. And the next thing I'm going to do is this. And then whenever they play that, I will be in time to castle and cover it. There we go. There we go. Problem solved. Literally, problem solved. So I just took a nasty KO, and all I did was switch one move. So I'm going to remember, if I ever see this again, I'm just going to play bishop there, and I'm not going to play knight there. Because if I play knight there, I'm going to get destroyed by this every single time. Going to get destroyed every single time. So this is an opening trap. And honestly, it's one of the first things you learn in chess. Seriously. One of the first things you learn in chess is the fried liver. It happened to me as well. Fried liver, very fun opening to play and very easy to get quick wins with. So I think every kid at some point has been taught this. It's like, hey, it almost feels like you're getting like a cheat code or something. Like, hey, you want to get some quick wins, little guy? Sure. And then they recommend this, and it will get you some quick wins. It gets addicting. But eventually the guy plays this, you realize it's not possible, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that was fun. That was fun. All right, so we're going to remember that, and we're going to add that to our gameplay. We're just going to play this. It's not a big deal. It's still a move I would want to play. It still follows all the rules. It still follows all the rules on the screen. Do you guys remember? Right here. I'm not going to break any of those rules, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the move order, play this bishop, and then the knight. That's all. And it's just going to save me from losing to this opening again. Whenever you take a nasty defeat to like a 99.7% accuracy guy in 10 moves, you should definitely analyze that game and change something about it. That's something you need to immediately fix. Have we come across Scholar's Mate yet? No, no one has tried to Scholar's Mate me. Or maybe they have, but I've just prevented it by accident. All right, so remember that going forward, and we continue. Bombadilly. Jax, thanks for the 7 months as well. Look at our homie Bombadilly over here. We've been playing e4 every time, that Epic Gamer, so we're going to keep going for it. We're building habits here. We're going to try to play the same opening, and e4 is a solid one. A solid one. Okay, we really stumped him with our move knight f3. I play too fast for 455. I've actually talked about this a few times during the stream. Because I spend a lot of time chatting and explaining things, or reading chat or whatever while I'm playing, I think that takes a lot of time off my clock. And so that's why I've been playing my moves a little bit quickly. Sometimes I think a little bit longer on tough moves, but I think that the time is more or less compensated because of that. Okay, bishop c4. We've been playing this you know, pretty much all day. If the guy plays here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play knight g5. You know why? Because I just saw him do it. And if you're 400 and you've just gotten absolutely pounded by something, you're going to do the same thing. And you know what? The guy plays bishop c5. And I'm probably like, what? This guy's OP, man. How come I'm not getting the quick win? It's ridiculous. How come he's not playing knight f6 and getting smoke showed in about 10 moves? And I'll say, all right. We back to the normal. Remember, that was a lapse in judgment by me, but we're here to build habits. Now, we'd all get tempted by trying to copy that guy who got the quick win, but it's not about the quick wins, it's about building the fundamentals and improving your long-term chess. Not about enjoying these quick 99% victories in the moment. I mean, hey, buddy from last game, he might have a good night because of that. You know, he might be on top of the world, but he's not out here building habits with the rest of us, you know? He's not out there with the homies building habits. So who's the real loser? You tell me. Castles, we're going to castle. You guys know what the plan is. Rook here, bishop there. We've done it before. Yeah, you guys have seen this. Okay, a move we haven't really seen before. We haven't seen this move to take our bishop. Pretty much, yeah, I don't think we've seen it at all. If he takes it, my pawn kind of doubles. But specifically, I feel like if this bishop was attacked, I think it's fair to say that I wouldn't leave it there. And I'm going to do a move which has sort of been my answer. So every time my bishop's been attacked, I've done two things. I've either moved my bishop back or forward, because forward is in the center and back keeps attacking the center. So because maybe I noticed that this move, then I can take it and I get double pawns, maybe I wouldn't do that. I'd go in the center. Now, if he goes here, I'm going to have to go back there. Of course, I wouldn't realize that. I'm 400. But that's my thought. I'm putting the bishop in the center because it's technically that should be a better place to go. Pieces towards the center. He's attacked me. Now I'm like, damn, I'm pretty stupid. So I'm going to put the bishop back here, and I'm going to have to take it. Remember what I said? Always about the center. So if he takes me, which what am I doing? I'm going to capture this way. 1,000% this way. Never playing this move. Always capture towards the center. b5. Okay, so now it's as if he's played b5, attacked me, and I've gone back. That's chill. I've seen that before. I'm going to play bishop here. This is exactly what I've been doing every game, and I'm going to take with the rook, not the pawn, because I've been taking with the rook every game. That's the habit I've built up. You've been stuck at 1200 for so long, watching this is painful. Well, the good thing is, Garka, if you've been stuck at 1200, like, variety is the spice of life, you know? So try being stuck at 400 for a while, you know? See if you like it. If you play with these rules, like, you could try out the 400 to 500 range for a good little while, I think. All right, he's taken. We're going to take back. I don't even have pre-moves enabled, so I can't even pre-move that. Matthew129, 5 gifted subs. Very generous. Thank you, Matthew. Okay, he goes there. What have we been doing in the past? I hope you guys realize I'm not doing anything special here. For those that have been watching, especially those that have been watching all my games, I put my queen on this square almost every game. I bring a rook to d1, rook to e1 every game. I always put this bishop here. I always put that bishop there. It's really the exact same. Okay, let's have a look here. Knight d5, not possible. Knight e4, not possible. Those are my two central moves. I can't play either of them. Sucks. In the past, I've gone here because you don't want to put it on the side and you don't want to put it back where it came from. So I could go here because I played that before. But technically, knight e2 is more central. So I'm going to go here. Yes, it blunders. My knight g4 blunders my rook. But I think it's fair to say that if this is available, you should choose it over this in general. So if you get in the habit of choosing this square over this square, you will be making the better move 9 times out of 10. Okay, we happen to be looking at the 1 out of 10 right now. Sucks. I lose my rook. Not that bad. He goes knight there. I will, yeah, I will remove the knight and place it on d1. That's what I will do. If only. No, I will play rook d1 because that's pretty much the follow-up move that I was gonna do. So we'll go rook d1. Unfortunate, we lose our rook. Takes, we're gonna take with the queen. We always kind of want to avoid doubling the pawns. No sacrifices. Yeah. If I win the game, it's a sacrifice. If I lose the game, it's a blunder. Remember. So basically, if I'm losing a rook for the knight, I can no longer win the game, or else it's going to be called a sacrifice. Okay, knight there. We take this way towards the center. We already know that. We can get that move ready. Does it count as sacking the exchange? No. Sacrifices are sort of like active things that you do. Okay, he goes here. What did I say? Is usually when a knight goes there, I don't kick it right away. I wait a move, and then I kick it. So let's kick it away. Let's kick it away. Now, if he takes, we already know what we're going to do. It sucks, but lost some material. Now we're in the random pawn move phase of the game. So what random pawn move have I chosen like 9 times out of 10? Do you guys remember? It's actually this one. Takes, takes, and in general trying to play this move. How many times have I used that? Many, many games. So I hope you guys are getting used to what pawn moves we choose when I say random pawn moves. It's often chucking a pawn up here, like one of those two. I often choose that. But otherwise, it's pretty much always been c3. You guys say c4? I'm looking for something a little less explosive. Okay, there's a capture available, so we're gonna take it. Okay, he's done something that I didn't calculate. He's done an in-between move. I don't even know what an in-between move is. But what I do know is my rook is attacked. So rook is attacked. Where do we want to go? Generally, I think we want to go to the center. So I'm going to choose the next best square. These are usually the 2 squares I've put my rooks on all game. So I'm going to choose this one. So he's taken back. Now it's my turn again. I'm pretty much lacking moves here. I can't play d4. I don't really know what to do at this point. So sure, I will move this knight. Rook a2. He's attacking a pawn. I see that. We can defend it. Queen here. It's still in the center. It's reasonable. Wasted and wounded. I've only just started this series, so I'd be looking for something like that, but not right away, you know? I want to get the series out, and then I would love for people who are brand new to the game to try to follow these rules and show me a game and see what it looks like. Seriously, that's what I would like to see, but we only just started it, so I wouldn't expect that yet. Okay, that's a pawn trade. It's an exchange. We immediately do that, of course. He's played this move. We don't really get that. Maybe a knight in the center makes a lot of sense. Okay, he's doing that. He's blundered the pawn, and I'll be hitting the bishop. That's a trade, so we're going to take that. That's a free queen, so we're going to take that. And unfortunately, our friend here, who played miraculously a near perfect game, he seemed to have lost a bit of his accuracy there at the end. Let's get him out of there. KO. Tony, 5 months. Yeah, he must have gotten tired, you know? Valentinian, 1,000 bits. Cheers, buddy. No, we gotta take a look at that game, you know? Definitely. Bomba Dilly. Our buddy Bomba. Let me see if I got castling. Damn. 87.1% accuracy. And you know what's crazy is our buddy here. Okay, so he's playing book moves. He's playing... He's playing... that's funny. Seems to be playing top moves. Oh, okay. So I missed queen b4, and he decided to take, and instead of taking the rook here, it's actually really good. This 400 realized he should defend the pawns. Quite impressive, actually. a5, really, really good move. Bishop there, wow. Oof, bishop takes. Oh, he actually blundered. You see that, guys? What a blunder. Taking a free pawn. Actually a terrible move. So, what you'll see here, guys, is actually a mistake from our opponent here. Taking this free pawn. Terrible move. Awful. He should have instead done something else. So here, after taking back, it's not going to be as good. Keep that in mind. Excellent move by him. Rook a2, really great stuff. And I think right around here, for some reason, our opponent kind of falls off the wagon a little bit. Maybe, I think right here, he takes 9 seconds. He plays a great move. And then right here, when he had 1.6 seconds, I sort of feel like he sort of went off path. 1.6 seconds. I feel like queen c7 was a little inaccurate. Queen d8, I feel like that was a little inaccurate. Queen d5, also slightly inaccurate. And then queen c5 here. I feel like this is not quite the move. So a bit unfortunate. Our opponent just great game. Didn't really have time to finish it off. Is how I feel. You know, if you look at the game report, the game kind of just trends in a very, very upward and positive direction for the black pieces. And then you notice it just teeters off at the end there and just disappears. And then suddenly white wins. It's actually miraculous how that happened. But as you can see, I have created a game plan of moves that if you do these, you can take down people who play as well as this guy just did. g4. So I think it's fair to say that I have no fucking clue what this move is. So I'm going to play the exact same moves that I've always done. Do I have any idea what g4 is? Hell no. Hell no. It is sad I'm not a classical player, otherwise we'd see me at Tata Steel. Yeah, as I said to some people, El Kashi, it's actually a very popular question for me, but I had to decline my invitation to Tata Steel this year. I mean, they invited me, obviously, but I just had too many things going on with streaming, so I had to decline the invitation, unfortunately. Let's bring the other knight out. This is what I've been doing every game. As with many things in life, I put you guys first. Okay, now, of course this is hanging, but again, how many times have I had a knight there in this game? Like, literally never. I'm going to put my bishop there. Okay, he's going rook there, and all I can think of is, hey buddy, you might need a chess.com fucking castling lesson, that's for sure. Let's go pawn here. Nice solid position. I've gotten this pretty much every game we've played so far. Have to take free pieces? Pawns are not pieces. Okay, he goes h4. Now, the thing is, this pawn has been hanging there long enough. He's just played the move h4. So where are my eyes right now? They're on the h4 square. Why? Because everyone looks at the place of where your opponent just made a move. So my eyes are on h4. I might look at the g4 pawn. Yeah, it's reasonable. It's reasonable. But we're going to castle. We're going to castle. Now, if he leaves it a third time, of course I'm going to take it. Okay, he goes here. Am I going to take it? No. Why? Because I'm probably going to take the pawn in the center. It's more valuable. It's more valuable. And I know that it's hanging because he's been defending with that bishop and he just moved it. So I'm going to take that guy in the center. Okay, now he's going here. An important thing. Knight takes here. I think this is the type of move that is absolutely playable at the 400 level because you might think 5 plus 1, that's 6 points versus 6. That's a fair trade. But in my opinion, knight takes f2, that's taking a pawn for a knight initially. So that's kind of a sacrifice. I wouldn't count on that as a move to expect. It does not really fit our rules. We're going to go back. We're going to go back because it is pretty much a sacrifice to start off. Kyoto, thanks for the prime, man. Welcome. Okay, knight g5 from him. Again, I don't normally kick him out right away. I usually wait and do it next turn. What am I going to do next? Well, this pawn has been hanging for so long. It's finally time to take it. Let's use the piece that I have not moved yet. Let's use the bishop. Let's use the bishop. So that has been hanging for like 3-4 moves. Finally, we'll take it. We'll see what I need to do next. Okay, he goes knight back. Now, my turn. Well, anytime my opponent has not had pawns in the center, I have always done this move. So here we go. We're going to go d5. He's taken it. I know that's a free piece. Technically, I don't have any experience with my queen taking first. And whenever there's an option of like many pieces to take with, like if that bishop was there, I would probably rank the pieces knight, bishop, rook, queen in order of which one you take with first. So I'm going to take with the knight. I think that's more natural. Oh yeah, we have to take that knight, Valentinian. It was just a question of which way we take it. Because yes, it's a free piece, and that's written right there on the screen. Got to take free pieces. Okay, he's attacking our knight. That's no surprise to me. Where can our knight go? We have the same choice as usual. We know we don't really want to go here or here. Those are not really moves we kind of like. We usually go back to f6 if there's no extremely good move to do. So I'm just going to go back. Bishop taking f3 knight. Absolutely. Trades, we always do trades, for sure. But in this position, I would say that if my bishop went there and he did something, I think trading is probably forced. But while this move is probably I would say like a good, could be a good move. I think d5 is a little bit more on the lines of how we've been playing. So I've taken pretty much every piece, but at the same time, as soon as there's never been a center pawn, where have I put my pawns? e5 and d5, no matter what. No matter what. So I agree. Hanging trade, let's call it hanging trade. But every time it's possible for me to play these two pawns in the middle, I think I've done it. So that's the rule I was following there. d5 was an 1100 move. I can show you guys the games. Well, okay. Unfortunately, this looks like an easy capture. Why wouldn't I do it? Because that's hanging. Whenever there's a move like this, I don't really see discovered attacks. There's a hanging knight for free here, so we're going to take it. We're definitely going to take that. That's how we've operated pretty much all the time. Now, if he leaves his queen hanging another move, believe me, I'm going to take it. But if there's just a hanging piece for free here, I'm going to take that. Okay, now, unfortunately, he has left his queen hanging. Hanging a trade, exactly. He has left his queen hanging, so we're going to have to take that. Bishop's attacking our knight. Knight can take a pawn. Do I know that this might be a discovered check soon? Maybe. Was queen takes better? Maybe. But my knight was being attacked, so I think that makes sense. Free bishop, I'm going to take it. Do I even see this as a check? Probably not. Probably not. Now the king's up. Let's get the knight in the middle of the board. That's another check. Let's bring the queen in. We want to keep checking him and checking him. Mate in one. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't always see those. That's a take for me. And what do we always do? I showed you guys this in another game earlier today. We always check with the lowest value piece possible. Of course, everyone in chat would play b6 mate, right, guys? Right. Always. Lowest value piece checkmate is always desirable. Always desirable. Hanging rook, hello? Hey, whenever you're trying to deliver checkmate, all you're focused on is check. Remember, when you're trying to deliver mate, where you feel like you're at the point where you're just chasing a king around trying to mate him, try to make sure every move is check at the 400 level. It'll help you avoid stalemate, and it'll usually get you a checkmate faster if you just try to check every move. Now, of course, we may get in a position where it might be like queen against king with just a king. And of course, if you check every move, you're never going to mate him. But we haven't got there yet. And Again, I think it'll help you more than hurt you if you just check every move. Try to check every move. .400 levels allergic to castling. Well, I've been castling every game, and chess.com says I need to work on it. Apparently. Castle twice a game. If only, if only. There you go. Valentinian farming some followers. Let's go. Hey, Neprosto. Yeah, we're getting up there. 468. I've been following my rules here. Hanging a trade. Exactly. Any funny messages by opponents? No, none of my opponents have said anything to me so far. At the end, you mean, Bullet Mercenary? Taking this? Check and take? Yep. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. I think there's an element of, at some point, you just gotta click that button, that material doesn't matter, and you just start going for mate against the king. But I completely agree that queen takes rook instead of queen takes pawn is probably the more natural move. But I would say as a rule, if your opponent's king is like, let's say for the white pieces, if it's not anywhere here, and it's like up the board further, like anywhere here, then I would already start to look to checkmate. That should be like a telltale. If for some reason, as white, your king is not on the first two ranks at all, then as black, you should be looking to checkmate that king. Or at least looking for a whole bunch of checks. The further that the king gets up the board, the more likely it is that it's going to be mated. That's just a fact. So if you can ever chase the king towards yourself in chess, that you want to do that, probably about 100% of the time. Any Super Bowl bets? Haven't made him yet. Hard to bet against the Chiefs, but I'm probably going to bet on the Bucks. The 400s know that. This is my 400 guide. My 400s know that. My 400s know that. My army of 400s, which I'm creating with this series. You guys are going to know that. Luigi, thanks for gifting us up to The Apprentice. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. You know it now. There you go. Okay, we won that game. Nothing to learn. You're 1400 and you wouldn't have found b6 mate. Well, yeah, if you can find b6 mate, then I mean it's not much to say. I mean, you'll improve, but this is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. No matter what your rating is, you should look to checkmate the lowest amount of material possible. When you're low rated like 400, you forego this unless it presents itself. You don't actively try to do it. Once you get up to 2600, 3000, then you actively look for it. So you'll get there. You'll get there. Baby steps. Baby steps. You were at 800, but you dropped to 600 tonight? Damn, Doobity. That sucks, man. Were you by any chance watching this stream while that happened? That's just a insane coincidence. All right. We look for another fiver. D4. We've pretty much played D5 every time we've seen it. And we're more or less going to follow the same rules. So this night we play with this, and then this night we play that. He goes here. I think we'll probably go do the same thing. We'll start with the knights. Hexic XBL. You don't like how many subs we have? That's okay, man. They don't like you either. I'm sure it's mutual. Okay, let's get our bishop out, controlling the center. I'm kind of doing the same thing that happened last game, e6, and I'm gonna go bishop here. Basically, it's the same setup you guys are seeing. It's just the opposite, right? It's just the opposite, right? Basically, it's just mirrored. It's flipped. I'm still meeting this move with this. I'm getting both knights out. I'm bringing a bishop to control the center. I'm gonna play e6, and as soon as I move this bishop, we're gonna get castled. It's pretty much it. So it's the same thing that we've been playing, just mirrored. Again, he goes here, I'm gonna take it. What am I planning to do? The exact same thing. The exact same thing. Sir Scriber with the prime. Looking good there, Sir Scriber. What's this called? Like a London for black? Yeah, something like that. Okay, that's a trade. We're gonna take that, and we're gonna get castled. We're gonna get castled. Tin castle as soon as possible. Yeah, of course, the other natural things like trading and whatever are gonna take precedence. And, you know, these are mostly guidelines, but I think you should treat them like rules as much as you can for the purposes of the experiment of testing this out yourself. But I think it's fair to say that as I've played so far, you guys have noticed I've pretty much adhered to them. Okay, knight there. I'm gonna bring the rook to the middle the way I've always done. Probably gonna bring the queen up and bring the rook over as I've always done. There's a hanging pawn there. Am I gonna notice it immediately? Not sure about that. In the past, what I've done is I've always let blunders like that sit there for one move. And if they let it sit again, it's like, okay, I will take that because that is a central pawn, and central pawns should always be on your radar. Queen there. Now, maybe against some of you guys, this would work, and you would play here or here. Against me, and based on the rules on my screen, sorry, bud, you just lost your queen. Sorry, bud. And he's gonna resign. We're gonna take a nice win there. There we go. That's a free piece. That's a free queen. This is why I tell you guys, at the 400 level, you can blunder things like knight c2, because that's a tactic. It's possible to blunder that. But what I'm saying is try your best not to blunder entire pieces like this. The only reason my opponent played this is he did not know that my knight could move like this to take it. He didn't know that this could happen. So don't be that 400. You know, we're all gonna make blunders. Maybe you do this once in a while, but do your best. Whenever you're thinking about a move, maybe you're thinking, oh, queen h5 would be good. Just ask yourself, you know, after I do this move, can he take me? Are any of my pieces hanging for nothing? That's like one of the main rules I have. One of the main rules. I pre-moved? No, I didn't pre-move, buddy. Well, you'll know I didn't pre-move because I actually don't have pre-moves enabled. I physically can't pre-move, so I definitely didn't pre-move. But yeah, I think pre-moves should be off for the 400 level. Exactly, Loaf's first rule. Know how the pieces move. If you knew the knight moved like this, you wouldn't play this. All right, we go for the next one. That's a win. How's my rating only 400? Well, I started at 400, so we've actually gained 76 points. All right, let's go for e4. The castling was close to a pre-move. Well, it doesn't matter. I know I haven't done any pre-moves because pre-moves are disabled. So they couldn't have been pre-moves. Okay, knight there. We've been going here. Okay, we've been going here. How high can I go with these rules? I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe some of you guys who have been watching for the entire segment so far might have a more informed opinion than others. What do you think? Let's say you only followed these rules. What rating do you think you could get to? Okay, every time we've seen this move, I've taken the same way. It's always been with the knight first. Pre-moves are disabled. That's not PC. It's okay, Sean. I stand behind chess.com in this regard. If you don't enable your chat on chess.com, it says you have disabled chat. So I feel like if I'm canceled, chess.com's got to be going first. So I'll hide behind them in that one. Knight takes e4, so d3 makes a lot of sense. Hits the knight, frees the bishop. He goes for this. Now, this brings us to interesting crossroads. The funny thing about this position is that taking kind of feels like a sacrifice because I'm taking a bishop and I'm going to lose a rook. Now, obviously getting 2 pieces is worth it, but I don't think that I really know that at 400. And the hilarious part is that when I go king here, this is actually a better move than taking. Because now I'm going to win a free piece. So my 400 rules on screen are actually helping me to win a piece here. Whereas you guys, you would have taken here. But I'm going to win a free piece. That knight is hanging for free. You guys would have taken, but my 400 rules actually earned me a free piece there. Thanks, DVD, for the prime. So I got another piece hanging here as well. So if he doesn't move that, you guys know I'm planning to take it. No tactics, exactly. And no sacrifices, which is why I'm not taking this, even though it would have been a good move. Okay, now, I said every time a bishop goes here, I was going to kick it away. You guys know that, so I'm going to play h3. And we're going to take that back. It's what I've done every time. Okay, now, this bishop is a trade, so I'm going to execute that. Anytime you can do a trade, go for it. That's a trade I'm going to take back. Maybe there's an in-between move, but way too complicated. Oh, there's a trade. We're going to take that. There's a trade. We're going to take that. And now, suddenly, I've got this knight which is just hanging, so I guess I'm going to move it. Most likely square, definitely c4, attacks the center. Hey, 39 months from Eric Charneski. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, b5, he attacks my knight, but my plan was to make a move that attacked the center, and there we go. Got this knight defending it, so yeah. Now, rook f1 check is like a threat, but regardless of that threat, I'm just going to move this bishop to a square that I've been moving it every single time. Every single time. Controls the center. Getting the rook to a central square, which is the #1 square I move this rook to every single game, and it happens to be a check, so you guys already know this is going to be my next move, of course. Okay, now bishop here and rook there would be checkmate. Do I know that? Of course not. It's time to bring the king towards the middle. It's an endgame, and what else do I want to do? I want to attack my opponent's pawns with my pieces. So that's going to be the goal. Both of those things are going to be the goal. Okay, here, he's technically giving me a free pawn. I am going to see that. He's trying to help me out. He's trying to get me to mate him on d8. At this point, it wouldn't be absurd if I played this. It wouldn't be absurd. But let's just say we get attacked. We go back to a central square. Okay, he's attacking, but let's use our king. We talked about the fact that we want to bring our king to the center. It's exactly what we want to do. And more pawns hanging. I think that bishop takes a7 is pretty reasonable. I also think that king e2 illustrates my point, which is king e2, king d3. Basically, if you bring the king to the center, we might lose a pawn on the way. This is what I've been trying to say. It's a good plan in the endgame. Bring your king to the middle and try to attack your opponent's pawns. Now, if you have pieces on the board, you should use those to attack the pawns as well. And here I'm up pieces, so I should definitely be using my pieces. But having the king in the middle here is definitely very reasonable. Very reasonable. Let's go to the middle. Okay. So, rook, time to use it in an endgame. Gotta try to attack some pawns. Probably gonna pick one of these 3 squares. Gotta attack something here. Okay. Just make some rook move to attack a pawn. That's the plan. Rook lift is fancy. Well, the thing is, all I've been outlining so far is bring the king to the middle and then attack your pawns, either with the king or with the rook. So you could go rook here, rook here, rook here. That works. Or you could go rook here, rook here, rook here. That also works. So it's not so much that this is like fancy. It's just you have to attack a pawn according to the rules I've outlined. So you either do it this way or you do it that way. And this move looks more central than this move. And one of the big points that I made in my rule set was to make as many central moves as possible. Always think about the center. That's another pawn. More pawns. Let's say this guy. And the other point is that in an endgame, it's not like when you're 400, you're going to be converting things perfectly. Hell no. Hell no. That's not what's going to happen at all. We need some... Let's give a check. Check is good. And we're going to start pushing this pawn because whenever it gets to an endgame, you guys know the drill. I've always been pushing pawns. As soon as I have a pass pawn, I just push it. Push it, push it, push it, push it. Okay, he's attacking my knight. I should save it. These are checks, but I have to admit, both of these moves look pretty strange to me. This looks like the most central move. It blocks my pawn, but I probably don't realize that. Let's go up the board. Bishop's being attacked. I'm going to just save the bishop. Again, everything in the center. It's always safe in the center. I got my pawn in the center, king in the center, bishop in the center. Everything's protected. This move doesn't make a threat. So we're going to keep pushing him, baby. That's a check. Now, technically, I can take that. I was just on that square with the knight. Now my king is there. But let's say I don't see that. I go king e4. Again, another central move. That's a free thing for me. You guys know I'm supposed to take that. Those are the rules. And there we go. We'll take a free thing, right? We got to take those free pieces. An entire free rook. We'll take that. You know, and start to finish, this wasn't the most insane game. We took the pawn there, we played this, and here, I'm going here and following my own rules of not taking this. I'm just saying, okay, I guess I just lost the pawn there. Taking a free knight. Pretty much when a bishop's there, we always play h3. Trade, 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 trade. Bring the knight back. And I already have a better position. I haven't really done anything except follow some of the rules on screen. Did I get a castling lesson? I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. Castling, there it is. Castling is there, 62% accuracy. Because you see, although I've maintained my advantage here, you see how much it fluctuates. Chess.com just can't really represent it, but it's 5.78, 6.13, 5, 6, then it's up to 8, back down to 5, 5, 5, 8, 10, 9, 10, 11, There's checkmate in 4 that I missed at some point, plus 15, 14. So down to plus 7 at some point near the end, plus 7, plus 8. So the end game was like, since I had this massive advantage, it was absolutely not perfect. Tons of mistakes. But what I'm saying is that, if you follow some of the rules I've outlined, even if you make mistakes, you shouldn't be blundering, the entire game away. And if you do, the amount of times you do that is going to be far less than the amount of times that you convert a win. One of the rules not to play en passant? Yes. That is one of the rules. That is one of the rules. I just can't write all the rules on screen. Maybe I'll come up with like a chat command with the full list of the rules, but I think you guys get the idea. You guys get the idea. Let's go. 5 minutes, as always. All the games have been 5 minutes. Okay, e4, e5. We know this. We know this. Knight there, knight here. Always the opposite knight. We know that too. If he did this knight, we would go here. d3. So, I guess what we'll do is we'll just go knight here. And, well, I'll go here. How is my guy playing the whale again? This is insane. I've never seen the whale in my life. I've seen it 2 times today. I don't know how it's possible, but somehow everyone is playing the whale all of a sudden. We talked about the whale earlier. c4, e5, e4, or e4, e5, c4. I mean, I don't know where people are learning the whale from, but I think Dan has done something. Pioneer Dan. Okay. You guys have seen me play these moves before. I'm going to put my bishop here. Nothing crazy, guys. You've seen these moves before. I've done these moves literally every game. Okay, whenever there's a bishop out, I automatically go here. Automatically. Whenever there's a bishop there, I automatically take. And I go queen here, and I go rook over. How many times have you guys seen that? And there's something in the center. We take it. I always take it. Now, do I know about d5? No, I have no idea. I don't know what tactics are. d5. Well, snarled Apollo. He certainly knows what tactics are. So, last time this happened, I said, look, okay, I'm going to lose a piece clearly. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. And we're going to put our knight in the center. We can't put our knight there, so we're going to put our knight there. So hopefully none of these moves are too complicated. I blundered a tactic, but I didn't know it was coming. I'm just following the rules that are there. Trades we have to do. And d5, how am I going to prevent that if I move one of these pieces? That's a little strange. It's not really what anything we've been following is like. So I'm going to take it. I'm at least going to get a pawn for my trouble. He takes me here. I'm going to take back. Rook's in the middle of the board. My opponent is bringing the heat. No, you're absolutely right. So right around now, my next couple moves are probably going to be like maybe doubling the rooks, maybe queen over because I want to be on the open file. Also, a few random pawn moves I think I might throw in. So I'm going to start by doubling the rooks. They're always stronger together. Something like this. I think queen there is also very reasonable. I also think, chucking just some pawns up would make sense as well. Okay, he's offered me a trade, so you guys know I'm going to take it. Just the power of doubling the rooks. He's played rook e1. You guys know I'm going to take that rook without even knowing that I win the queen. But now he knows he's lost his queen. Okay, you guys know I'm going to take a queen. Absolutely. Now here come a few random pawn moves. Random pawn move time. We always do trades, and we definitely always take queens, take free pieces. Always do a trade if it's the same value or if you're taking something of greater value, that's for sure. So I did a trade here when I could take a rook, and I did rook for queen because queen's worth more. Knight here, okay, more time for more pawn moves. This has been a move I've utilized a lot with the white pieces, but it's pretty good. c6, the idea to go like that, capture towards the center, as always, and to follow up with d5. So Ryerson, there is going to be this type of tutorial, if you want to call it that, for different rating levels. Right now, I'm starting at about 400, but, 4 or 500 ELO. And we'll play maybe 50 plus games under these conditions. And then what we're going to try to do is add some extra things to the rules, and then that'll be for the 1000 level. And then we're going to add a few more things, and that's going to be for the 1500 level. And my goal is that as you progress up, you sort of see what things you need to be adding to your game. Now, I know this might be very basic for a lot of people watching. You're already past this level, but I think it probably is still relevant for a lot of the lower rated people or the beginners who are just starting chess. And it doesn't help to review the basics, because everything that you're going to need in the 1000 level, you absolutely need to have everything from the 400, 500 level plus some extra stuff. So if there's anything that's changing from level to level, you're going to know. It's going to be in the rule set. Okay, this is a free pawn. I'm just going to take it. It's in the center as well. It's in the center as well. Kings chasing pawns is already going to get you the 500s. Dude, that's useful even at like the 2000s, I swear to God. Activating the king in the endgame and using it as an attacking piece is seriously very useful advice that I wish someone told me earlier. Okay. Probably a few more random pawn moves. I always sort of run myself out of pawn moves. This is a free piece. I mean, we have to take it. We have to take it. That's for me. That's for me. More pawn moves again. Okay, now taking that and giving check to the king, very reasonable. I think it's not insane to sort of move the king towards the middle. This is part of our rule set. So you could say queen takes is very logical, and doing that would probably result in picking up some piece. But I don't think it's insane to bring the king in the middle. It is the end game. It's fair to call it an end game. And that's one of our rules. We want to bring king to the middle. Cheating? He's trying to dodge the back rank. Well, if I don't play king f8, then I was going to play queen takes pawn. You guys would probably call that cheating, because queen takes pawn is a much stronger move than king f8. That's for sure. That's for sure. Rook f5. Okay, again, I think I bring the king out is not unreasonable. Would I be afraid of hanging my knight? Well, right now it's defended, and if he attacks it, I'm probably going to move it, you know? We'll see what he does. Again, this move is available, which crushes white, but I'm not really trying to play necessarily the best moves. I'm saying, look what happens. Look what happens if you follow these rules. Okay, takes, capture, we're always gonna do. I'm being very aggressive with my king, and I wouldn't even necessarily recommend this. When you have a queen, probably use your queen more. But I'm just saying, look, what happens if I'm super aggressive with my king? King. What have I been saying, guys? Bring the king in the middle, and then start attacking your opponent's pawns with your king. You might literally be laughing at my last moves, but look at me. I walked all the way down the board, and now I'm going to take his a2 pawn. I mean, you can giggle, but my king is doing work out here. It is doing work. Okay, so he's making a move that looks like it's hitting my knight. I don't think it's unreasonable to move my knight. Do I know that this is a discovered attack? Not really. I'm just moving my knight. Probably I'm surprised to find out this is a check. King there. Well, it so happens I can take this. I'm not going to play the multitude of better moves that exist. That's an exchange. That's an exchange. Probably some checks make sense. King takes pawn. And we're at the point of the game where you guys have seen how I win these games. I move my pawn all the way. Okay, that's an exchange. Or a capture, rather. Our queen's being attacked. Let's give a check. And here I think it's fair that I would try to make this move like 7 times and fail and not realize I was in check. So that's fair. Okay, now we move our king. And the goal is just to push that. Okay, he's attacking our queen again. We're going to give him a check. We're going to give him another check. You got to just keep checking. And I know sacrificing is going to be smart. But at this level, I think it's fair that, you try to find other checks. And you're trying to make it work. Now you push this pawn. We push him, baby. And look at that. You know why I probably won that game? Because he tried to move his rook at the end. And he was pinned. So I know that sacking the queen for the rook is good. But of course, when you're 400, you're going to hang on to your queen. There's no way you'd ever sack. That doesn't make any sense. So you hang on to your queen. And all I'm doing is just the idea of pushing the pawn to the end. It's a winning idea. It's a winning plan. So we do a lot of checks. Thanks, Bugcatcher, for the 2 months. Rain Inverse for the brand new sub as well. Peeps won't improve. They're just going to flag people. Now, a lot of these games you could flag as well. But I think it's fair to say that some people are very quick with the mouse. So they might pick up these habits and do exactly what I'm doing, but faster. Because I'm not doing this at a very fast pace, I don't think. I'm getting down to a time scramble with my opponent. We both have 1 second at the end. I think I'm being pretty fair with the amount of time I'm spending. If you're even faster with the mouse, or maybe you see a few extra tactics that I don't see, then you should probably be even higher rated than I am at the moment. Okay, let's go for another game. We said we'd try to get 500. And so if we win this game, we do get it. If we win this game, we do get it. So I think this will be the last game of our stream, guys. Because if we get it, we're 500. And if we miss it, that's a loss. So let's see if we can do it. We're going to follow these rules precisely. You guys know about this. We can even do some predict a move. We don't have time to do it in chat, but you guys can start pretty much guessing the moves I'm going to do. Like right now, you guys should have an idea what my next move is. What is it going to be? I've done it pretty much every game so far. Every game so far. Yeah. Knight c3. Knight c3. Bishop c4, not a bad move. But remember, I haven't been going for this fried liver stuff. I've been going for knight c3 every time. Knights first. Now, bishop c4. I know you guys all know this one because those who said bishop c4 and knight c3 would say the other one right after. So those 2 moves come out. We want to get castled as soon as possible. Now what comes next after castling? Almost no matter what he does. Okay, he goes here. This should be an easy one for you guys. This should be an easy one for you guys. Don't think we'll have take it. Hell yeah. Not going to have opposition here. So we take it. It's a trade. That's immediate. And what about next? What about next? Sure, d3. d3 looks great. And let's say he plays the knight here. I think he will. I think that... Okay, he goes here. So it doesn't matter. But my point is, what's the next move that I'm going to do? Think about all the games I've played so far. Everything that I've been trying to show you guys. And it doesn't have to be the best move. It's what move am I going to play. Not the best move, but the move I'm going to play. Naprosto, 8 subs. We need 8 points to 500. And Naprosto with 8 subs. Thanks, buddy. I see a lot of bishop e3s. I see some bishop g5s. But remember, what move have I been playing 1,000 times before I play bishop to e3? I have never had double pawns in any game that we've watched so far. I've always played rook e1. That's right. A lot of people got rook e1, but there were some mixed opinions. Bishop e3, bishop g5. Rook e1 I've done way before bishop e3 or bishop e6 as white and as black, no matter what. Always rook first, and my next move is probably going to be bishop there. Now again, these might not be the best moves, but these are the moves that I'm going to play based on the rules I've outlined. Okay, he goes rook f8. Obviously, he needs a castling lesson. If we just did rook e1, I think we could all agree our next move should be bishop e3. So now we go bishop e3, and if he takes it, we're going to take with the rook. That's what we've been doing so far. That's what we've been doing so far. Thank you, Naprosto. Hopefully we can get the 8 ELO to match that. So rook e3 is our plan. Now, of course, he doesn't have to take it. But remember, if he doesn't take us, what are we going to do? We're absolutely going to take him. It doesn't matter where he goes. We always want to do trades. So if he doesn't take us, we know we're going to take him. For example, knight here, you guys don't even have to think. We're going to take him. That's guaranteed. Now, what move am I going to do next? He's going to take back. What am I going to do now? What have I been doing the entire match so far? The entire match. I guess the entire stream is a better way to put it. Queen d2. There we go. You're getting the hang of it. Queen d2. Definitely what we're going to do. Okay. Double the rooks after queen d2. I think you guys mean after queen d2 when you say double the rooks. I think you guys mean rook d1. Is that right? Rook d1 is exactly what I've been doing the entire show. So queen d2, I like it. Rook d1, there we go. So I've basically got every piece working the way I want it to. It's a pretty good setup. It's what I've been going for. Now, what's coming up? What are the next type of moves coming up? Next type of moves. Generally, at this point, when we've done all this, we want to go to the king. We want to go to the king side, and we want to make a pawn move in front of the king, so we make sure we never get back rank mated. Not a random pawn yet, but if for some reason we haven't moved a pawn in front of the king, we always want to do the king's pawn first, and then we do a random pawn. King's pawn first. So sure, h3. That's fine. Now, does this blunder a tactic? Oh, it definitely does. Knight takes h3. But we're not going to find every tactic. Now, maybe g3 would be a better move here. But in general, h3 is going to be a good move. And it might be better than g3, like, 75% of the time. So sticking with h3, I don't have a problem with. He goes a6. It's time for our random pawn move. You guys have gotten a hang of my random pawn moves. a4. Chuck it. Just chuck it. BBBDDD. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. Now I got a question for you guys. What do we do next? Any more rando pawn moves? What do we do? We've got our pawn over here. We've got our pawn over there. b3? Sure, b3 is reasonable. We're just making pawn moves. b3 is reasonable. And you guys are probably seeing that as white, it's move 15. Both players are actually doing pretty well here. But now I think it's truly the area where you would need to do something on your own. Now we've sort of made all the pawn moves we can do. We've done everything with the pieces. But you guys did a good job. Already you got out of the opening, probably in better shape than the fried liver game. Remember the fried liver game? What a disaster that was. Look at this. This is already 10 times better. Knight e2. Yep, I think knight e2 is a great move. I'm probably going to go knight e2 because another random pawn move that I've been doing is this followed by that. So I might try to set that up. I might do that. Also, this move offers a trade. Trades are fine. I'll always do trades. Okay, he's gone here. So obviously I'm not going to take this knight. I'm going to take this. And I just moved this knight, so I might take this. Makes the most sense to take that knight since he just moved it there. Okay, kind of rando pawn move. I might do this. Time, I know. I'm going to play these next moves just a little bit quickly because I spent a long time sort of waiting for you guys to vote in the chat on the moves. But I actually think that my opponent is playing a fantastic game so far. So all things considered, if he doesn't blunder that much, he probably deserves to win this game. And this is a loss that might happen from time to time. I think he's playing very well, but we'll see. I'm playing c3. That's a general move that I've been playing a lot. Okay, he's offering a trade. I gotta take that. Remember, knight e2 that we played isn't totally crazy. We couldn't have brought that knight to the center, and this is usually the next best move to play the knight. So not a ridiculous move that we played there. Didn't take the free piece. Well, I don't think there is a free piece. I don't think there is one. This knight's defended, remember? Okay, he's going here. Now, I could take this pawn, but I'm definitely going to take this one because he just moved it. He just moved it. And again, I'm going to take things. Anything I can take, I'm going to be taking it. I'm going to be taking it. Now, I don't think it's crazy to play this. Anytime that I can put these two pawns in the center, I've always said, that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. So we're going to start with this, pawns in the center. You know what else I've said? Anytime I can put the knight in the center, I will. Let's put the knight in the center. I've got the pawns. Put the knight in the center. Can't complain about this. Knight e5. Now, do I have this threat? Yes. Am I really thinking about it right now? No. This is a fork. All I'm thinking is, hey, knights in the center are good pieces. Put my knight there. He goes rook there. I don't really know what's going on. Maybe I go queen here. Who knows? Put my queen here. It's a central looking move. Now, my opponent with the b5 move, that was probably the bad move that he played this game. Okay, he's threatening mate in one. Tough move to see, tough move to deal with. I think it's totally reasonable. Threatening mate in one. We might make a move that's not so good because we feel like we have to guard it. And it's tough to defend. This is a situation we haven't been in so far in any of these games. Defending mate in one is, we haven't been threatened with mate in one very often. Okay, that's a free piece. Technically, we take that. Technically, we take that. And honestly, our opponent played pretty well. He made a mate in one threat, and he played a great game up until b5. So I think he kind of played the better game this time. But even still, against him, I think we did very admirably following our rules. c6. Maybe I would take that, take his rook, but I simply don't have enough time. I simply don't have enough time. And it's not like I'm just going to take over and start smashing the position. Of course not. The point is to be, honestly, as realistic as possible. You're not just going to win a billion games in a row. You're going to drop some games here and there. That's how it's going to work. This is not some recipe to win 40 games in a row. This is a recipe to get a pretty decent game every time and at least always have a shot at winning. If you take a little extra time on some moves, you're going to flag, of course. But the point is that we're going to be adding to these rules with other rules and maybe saying, look, instead of no pre-moves at the 1000 level, hey, you should know what a pre-move is if you're going to be 1000 or you want to be at that level. So my goal is, well, let's just see how many games we've played at this rating. I had to play some games on this account to get rid of the provisional status. So let's see how many games we've actually played since we started. So it got reset here after Danville. So this is the first games we played. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. We've played about 29 games. So we played 29 games, and we've gone from 400 ELO to basically up 85 points. We've lost some. We've lost some rating as well. We were 300 at some point. In fact, I lost the first game of the day, so I was 393. But you can see we're slowly gaining, and it hasn't been perfect. We obviously went on a great run recently, but if you look at these evaluations, just look, like I'm not playing crazy. I have a 22.5, a 9, 37, 33, 61, 53, 58, 31, 62, 62. Like, guys, you know what I mean? I'm not playing insane. I'm not playing insane. 99.7, the fried liver one. Yeah, he's absolutely not a cheater. It's just I got checkmated in 10 moves, and he just used the fried liver opening trap on me. And we didn't know it at the time, so we got crushed. You're still 290. You're losing on time a lot. A really good rule that I like to have is try to always have as much time as your opponent. Now, that's to a certain extent. If your opponent uses 2 seconds per move for every single move, don't use 2 seconds per move for every single move. But in general, if they use 30 seconds on a move, you could use about 30 seconds on a move. If they use 10 seconds, use 10 seconds. If they use a minute, or less. Or less. So just try to always stay up on time or even. Hey, cheers HK1020 with the 1020 donation. Hey, thanks Byron. So we have a Discord that if you guys want to catch the next one of this stream, or if you want to know when the next stream in general will be, because the next time the stream is on won't necessarily be the next time I do a stream like this. If you want to make sure to catch all our streams, or if you want to make sure to just catch the next one of this series, join our Discord, because we have an announcement section in our Discord and we post our schedule there. We also post it pretty much everywhere. I think we might start posting it as our offline screen on Twitch. It's usually posted on Twitter as well. And I think we post it on YouTube as like I don't know what it's called, a YouTube community post. We post it on YouTube as well. So if you're subbed on YouTube, you should also see it there. But yeah, we always give the start time and what kind of stream you can expect and who's going to be streaming. So if you wanna make sure you're here for the next one, first of all, make sure to follow the Twitch channel. That's the best thing. So you always know when we're live streaming. So if you're not followed, you can definitely click the heart button above the stream right now. Make sure you're followed. You're not going to miss anything. But yeah, we also have a very active Discord community. So you can definitely check that out. We'd be happy to have you in there, whether you want to chat about chess, talk about Super Bowl, talk about Conor McGregor, get destroyed in MMA, Tinder advice channel. Like, there's just lots of cool channels in our Discord. We got a pretty active community. Yeah, 9 accuracy. I know. I'm not looking too good here. I got crushed by 99.7, and I'm out here playing with 9 accuracy. And maybe, hopefully, there's a bunch of people here who weren't here for the last stream, and this will be a good introduction. So every game I play as white, I'm starting with e4. E4. It's all about the center. Just to reiterate, e4, e5 is the most common move, especially at the beginning levels. Knight f3 is always my reaction to e5. And again, although this is a hanging pawn, I've got a hanging pawn. I'm not messing with any of that stuff. If the goal is to get a nice solid opening and not to go for tactics or win pawns too early. So knight c3 is what I'm doing after knight f6. So the knights always move towards the center. So these moves are very natural. It should never really consider moves like that. Bishop c5. Again, pawn might be hanging, but the goal is not to be worried about that too much. Really just focus on getting the pieces out. d3, castle. And this is the setup that I'm going to be going every single time with the white pieces, unless black does something that kind of stops this. You just got here? Well, you haven't missed anything, I would say. We just started. This is our first game. He goes d6. Again, the goal is castle as soon as possible. I don't think there's any problem with stabilizing the center first, but let's go castle ASAP. There's a trade. The first trade presented. What do we do every time there's a trade? I've said the rules we're following are bishop takes bishop. Always take any trade. If it's equal material, or if your opponent's blundering and giving you more material, you always get that trade in. And again, d3. You always got to open up your other bishop. Okay, here's a move. That's a trade. We always take those. We always take those trades. And rook into the middle, putting some pressure here. Although I could have taken that with the knight. Again, I'm just kind of following the principles. If he leaves that pawn hanging for too long, I will take it. And what we've seen is the first thing. He's gone knight c6, and I think it's time for us to really consider, why can't we take that pawn in the center? The rook and the knight are both targeting that pawn. And, you know, if you click on your knight, you'll see all these little dots that appear. I think it's good to have that setting turned on, first of all, to show all legal moves. You can turn that on in your settings, but it just means that when you click a piece, you can see exactly all the legal squares it can move to. So it's kind of helpful. So I think we can just go ahead and take this. Take that pawn in the center. It's supported by the rook, and it's a center pawn. So we should always be looking at pawns in the center. Can we take them with our pieces? Do we have enough? He's got a knight defending it, but we have a rook and a knight attacking it. Okay, he goes queen there. Am I looking at knight here, knight here? Knight here would actually win the queen, discovered attack. But let's say we're just playing a quick move. I'm going to take this knight. It's an exchange. We're supposed to go for those. And knight c4 is a discovered check. That's a tactic. You know, that's not the easiest thing to see. So I'm going to take this. I didn't even know it was a check probably. But hey, look at that. When you're playing you know, at the 400 or 500 ELO, I don't think you need to worry about tactics. That's why it says no tactics on the screen. You probably don't know them, and that's not what you should be focused on. The main focus is if you follow the rules that I'm presenting to you, I think that your rating should go up, should be higher than 400. And hopefully that's what I'm going to prove here with this series. So if I end up at 200, then, you know, LOL, I've failed. I'm going to go back because my knight's under attack for sure. And e5 is a central square that I know is safe because it's protected by my rook. So I'm going to go and do that. He moves the king. And again, knight f7 would just be a crushing move, game over, forking literally everything he's got. But we're going to stick to our principles. It's all about the center, controlling the center. Bishop here, controlling one of the central squares. Definitely a very logical move. And so the point of the series is that by following these rules, you might miss some wins. For example, knight f7 is a win. It's crushing, believe me. But by not playing it, I'm trying to say that if you follow these rules, you might miss some moves, missing knight f7, but that ultimately you're probably going to play more good moves on average. So yes, I'm missing this, but these rules are also going to guide you and make sure you don't miss basic things by him. So he goes knight here. That is attacked by two of my pieces. Now, I might take with the knight, losing my bishop, but look, my queen hasn't moved yet. We know the queen's attacking that square. The rule is take free pieces. So we take those. Queen takes g4 immediately. You see that rule? It's on the screen right there. Basically, try not to hang anything for free and take everything you see that is free. He goes there. Again, this move exists, but I'm going to play knight e4. Why? Because he made a move, attacks my knight. I'm going to react to that. So I'm going to grab my knight, and I'm going to look to move it somewhere. That square is covered by him, so I'm going to move it here. Why? Because my two first options should always be to put pieces in the center. In the center. And if I can't go to d5, I'm going to choose the next one that's available. Rook there. Or knight there, rather. So he goes queen up. Again, I'm just going to complete my development. I'm going to bring the rook to the middle. This is, let's say, not the best move. There's tons of other things I could be doing. But it's a move that pretty much does exactly what I've been trying to do every game. Rooks to the middle, complete development. Got a good looking structure here. He goes bishop here. He attacks my rook. I don't think it's unreasonable for me to move my rook away. Rook e2 makes more sense because it's still attacking the center. C3 also wouldn't be crazy. It's around this time where we usually do play a move like c3, but I'm just going to go rook e2 for now. I'm going to go rook e2 for now. So nobody's going to follow these rules perfectly, but that's the goal. That's the goal. He takes here. Now, without thinking too much, there's mate in one on the board. I'm going to play a move, h4. And I think it's important. We want to have the king there. Now, if you can find that mate in one, boom, take it. Take it. Absolutely. He starts taking all these pawns. I think it's about time we find this mate in one. It's sitting there. We've done our escape move. We're up 2 pieces here. I don't think it's unreasonable to go for that checkmate. There we go. Random pawn move hype. We're going to take that win because you know what? I think we've played a pretty reasonable game so far, following the rules. This is an important move so we don't get back rank mated. Like that. And although our opponent started taking here, what we realized eventually is, look, there's queen takes g7, knight's covering that square. Whether we find it now or later, I think this game is going to be a win. Is going to be a win. Let him learn also. Well, hopefully he can tune in. Hopefully he can tune in. It's funny, if you look at his game from the perspective of what I would advise him to do, I don't think we've done that yet, but it's kind of a funny thing. If we think about what would I advise him to do, I would advise him to play the knights first. So you always want to get your knights out. Castling ASAP. So if he castled here, that would be a strong move. He chose to do this instead. He got double pawns, and then he moved a pawn. And look, he's not castling. Look how many moves he's not castling. all these moves, and then look what he has to do. He moves his king. That's why he lost this game. Imagine he had the rules that I'm proposing. It says castle ASAP right on the screen. His king would be nice and safe, tucked away a long time ago. So this is just an example of if he was following the rules that I'm proposing, I think his game would improve a lot. Just as a random example here. If he castled here, his game improves tremendously. He brings the knight out, rook there, bishop there, and you guys are going to see. Obviously, I'm going to get a lot more games in, and we'll see how it goes. But this is just an example of how his game could have improved like tenfold just from doing that. Getting castled, his king in the middle was the reason he lost that game. All right. Phalange blaster. All right, let's go for this game. Now, knight f3 is actually a move we haven't seen before, but the idea is that on your first move of the game, we got to occupy the center with something. So we can't go here because he's actually going to take it for free, so we're going to use this. So just one of these two moves, no matter which one it is, it needs to be your first move of the game. You gotta start controlling the center. We have to. So let's go d5. He goes d4. Again, same principles as before. We're going to get a pawn in the center, and then we're sort of going to look to get our knights out and get our bishops out as well. So he goes here, I'm going to go here as well. Might not be the best move, but the idea is knights control the center squares. These two squares for the knights are probably the best in the game. So get used to like putting one pawn in the center and then getting both knights out. That's going to be a good strategy most of the time. Now the bishop. What have we been doing as white? We've been playing bishop c4 after e4. So we're going to go here. Now after bishop there, this is on the image, ! habits info. So the full image will tell you, anytime you see a bishop go there, play that. You know, if it's attacking your knight, whatever it is, we play this right away. There we go. So now we take back, because we simply have to. He took one of our pieces. Let's take back on c6. He goes there. Now we're going to try to complete the development. We're going to play e6. We always need to move that central pawn in order to move this bishop out. Probably we want to go bishop here, controlling the center, and then we want to castle. That's the idea. Bishop here and castle. Bishop here shouldn't be a surprise. That's exactly why we played this. Bishop attacks the center. We want to control these squares where possible. And look at all my pieces. My knight was controlling central squares. My other knight's controlling central squares. This bishop's controlling central square, and so is this guy. So all my pieces are doing exactly what they need to do, and now I can finally castle. So we're going to do it ASAP. ASAP. Sort of not paying attention to what he's doing, but it is a good habit as well to make sure you're not hanging anything. So one of the things on screen, it says, make sure you're not hanging anything for free. So I'm processing this a little faster than you guys might, but every move that he's doing, I'm looking at it and I'm going, hey, does this change the position in any way? Is he attacking something that wasn't there before? No. How about this? Is this attacking something of mine? Am I hanging anything? No, it's not changing the position. He goes here, I should double check this. Is this hanging? Well, I've got it covered, so no. So I can continue. So that's something that I'm doing in the back of my head that I'm not really saying out loud, but I am checking, and you should be checking every single move. Double check. Is anything of mine completely hanging for free? Now, if it's a pawn, you might drop a pawn or two, but what I'm saying is the pieces you have, are any of them completely hanging? You do not want to be dropping entire pieces. That's something you want to avoid. That's something you want to avoid. So he's played this. At this point, rook in the middle. I've always said we sort of want to get our queen up, bring the other rook to the middle. These are the moves we want to go for. Bring the queen up. Okay, he goes in the middle. Now, it's a trade, so we don't have to calculate here. In general, at this ELO, trade happens. If it's possible, you take it. Take it. And the knight has to move. It's being attacked. You're going to click your knight. You're going to see all these dots appear. The knight can't go to these 4 squares. Well, 5 squares, actually. So you only have 3 dots. Now, this one and this one, they're just not towards the center. So this is an easy decision for us. That's a central square, and our knight can go there safely. Easy move, knight e4. Okay, he's going to take. We're going to take back. That's a piece exchange. And we'll see what happens next. So, again, we saw in the last game an example of me missing like a fork to actually win his queen and probably win the whole game. But I'm just proposing I guess a method that if you follow all these rules, you'll have really good fundamentals. Let's get this bishop out of the way. He's attacking us. Let's move back. We were just on that square. That's a safe square. Okay, he moves his bishop there. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to like double check. Is he attacking anything of mine? Am I hanging something? Is my queen just sitting here? No. So this move doesn't appear to do anything. Now it's at this point where I think it's fair, if we're following our rules, we would play this move. Now, yes, it does hang this pawn, but it's not hanging a piece. Sometimes we hang pawns, but we should never hang pieces. That's the rule. Okay, we got everything in the center. Once we have this, what's the move we're supposed to do here, guys? If you've seen the last stream, or if you're following the rules, you should know that we want to make just a small move like this, an escape square for the king. We need to always have an escape square for the king. And look, he took our pawn. That's fine. We have an escape square. Our king's not going to get back rank mated. And after the queen takes pawn, we have to start evaluating. We got to make some random pawn moves. We got to, push pawns. Look, if I move a pawn in the center here, it's going to result in a tactic. I don't even know that that's a tactic, but d4 is a move that you might play just because it's a pawn push in the center. But after your queen takes pawn, I don't think it's unreasonable to go rook a8. Like, hey, I'm just going to attack the queen. So we're attacking the queen. I think that d4 could definitely have been played, but hey, look, if I take it, that's kind of a fork. Almost feels like cheating. So we're gonna play rook a8. Now look, pawn hanging there, could definitely take that pawn. c5, d4, I think both of these moves are still considered. This is a moment where we would want to basically play a random pawn move. But we don't really have that many random pawns to push. I mean, we have these guys, but that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this pawn. Rook a8, hit the queen. I'm going to use his open file to take the pawn. If you think about the time situation, my opponent's actually playing very fast. This is likely a game that I'm probably going to lose on time, but we'll see. He goes here. I'm going to take it. Why? It's an exchange. And am I going to play queen d4? Of course not. That's a tactic. Our bishop gets hit. We just go back. We're still attacking the center. So whenever a bishop gets attacked, I'm going to move it back and still try to attack the center. The queen gets attacked. Can I go here? Can I go anywhere here? No. So I actually only have one square. And if you click the queen, you'll see all these dots appear. And none of them are actually safe except this one. So it might take you some time to find that. Maybe you flag this game. That's okay. We're not planning to win every game with these rules. That's the idea. We're not planning to win every game. Okay, it goes there. We move our queen somewhere. Maybe we make an attack on the bishop. Maybe we double the rooks on the open file. Lots of things we could do here. But in the end, if you think about the game, we have even pawns. We have a safe king. We're not going to get mated. How are we going to lose this game? We might flag. But that's okay. You're not going to win every game doing these things. But I think that even though we might not win this game, I think that our play has been pretty good. I think we've been playing pretty well. Okay, he's actually hung a bishop for free. So we're going to take it. That's in the rules. Whenever there's a hanging piece, we have to take it. Remember, we played queen here to attack that bishop. If he's not going to move it, we are going to take it. Absolutely. He goes there. We have 4 seconds left. Even if I give a check here, whatever it is, doesn't matter. We're going to lose this game on time for sure. But I think we still played a good game. I think the fundamentals are still there. So that's why this isn't really a speed run, right? I'm not trying to say, hey, look, I'm going to just smoke all these 400s and, get to 3,000 ELO or something. The point is that I am going to lose some games, but hopefully it'll be reflective of what's going to happen to you if you try to follow these rules. You're going to lose some games on time for sure. This guy played a good game, but again, we had a pretty solid setup. The goal is to bring the rook over, trades where possible, and then always taking that time once we've finished our development to make that move in front of the king. This is important. If you make this move, you will literally, or you shouldn't get back rank mated for the most part. Now, there might be a situation where he's covering that square and you forget that and checks you and you can't go there. But in general, if you make that one move with the h-pawn to save your king, it's going to work out most of the time. So that's what these rules are all about, working out most of the time. I know it's not going to work out all the time. These aren't like foolproof rules. You use them and you win all your games. I wish that chess was that simple. And I wish I had the answer to that. That would make me a genius. But that's not the case here. Let's click Analyze. Always like to click Analyze on the losses. High percentage plays, exactly. So let's see. See, look, we had 88.6 accuracy. We played a good game just following the rules that I've outlined. Now, we lost on time, but that's going to happen. 88.6, there you go. That's a good game. That's a good game we just put together. We can be happy about that. That's called building the fundamentals, building good habits. That's going to come in handy as we, slowly progress up the rating ladder. So there we go. That's a good game, clearly. You're not going to win every single one, but you can still play a good game, even as a loss. Why do you always fight for the center? Well, all the actions in the center. If you put your knight over here, the simplest way to explain it is your knight here controls 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Your knight here controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares. If you put your bishop over here, it controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. If you put it right there, it's going to control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Pretty much every single chess piece, if you put it in the middle of the board, is going to control more squares than if it's on the sides. Simple as that. So there's a lot of ways you could explain why we play in the center. But the easiest one is if you put a piece in the center randomly, it's going to control more squares than if it was somewhere else, more or less. So it's not true for everything, but I think it's an easy way to explain it to start off. Polar Bear ABC, thank you for the 10 subs. Very kind, buddy. Obviously, we got castling as something to learn. Bishop pair is something to learn. Jeez, we're getting smoked. I could learn this from Dan. Bishop pair. The castling. This is a troll that I'm never going to get. I'm going to be castling my whole life. My goodness. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Well, there are going to be blunders, Airbus, because, for example, in the first game, I missed knight f7, which was forking his king, his queen, and his rook. That's definitely a blunder not to play that. So, absolutely, you are going to have blunders. You are going to have miss wins. For example, in the first game as well, I missed checkmate in 1. I eventually played it, but I did miss it for a move. So you're going to have blunders. You're going to have that. But the point is to get the fundamentals going. So no, you will have mistakes. Absolutely. It's not a foolproof system. Okay, we're playing a pretty high-rated guy here, but this is where we're going to go with e4. You guys have seen this from the first game. We're starting off with this all the time, and we're playing our knight out next. Why? I'm going to hit this pawn. I'm going to get developed. Our next move is probably going to be knight there. He happens to hit our pawn. This is perfect. We defend it. But look, both knights, they're hitting the central squares, exactly where you want them. He goes bishop here. We're going to go bishop there, hitting the central square. He goes d6. Let's follow our plan. Castle ASAP. And again, I don't think there's any issue with playing this pawn and then castling. Sometimes I interchange those. It's not really a big deal, but castling ASAP is exactly on our rule book as part of it. Now, the knight goes there. We've talked about how if a bishop goes there, we immediately play h3. And I've also mentioned that if a knight goes there, immediately playing h3 could be a very good move as well. But I've also said, look, if you let it sit there for one move and then play h3, that's totally fine as well. Totally fine as well. So let's see. I'm going to play d3 just to start off. And then next move, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. One thing that's kind of important to learn really quickly is that taking on f2 is actually good for you to take. It's good for you to take. Now, the way that I have played my games at this ELO is I've said, look, that's a bishop and this is a rook. Taking that bishop for rook instinctively doesn't seem like a good idea. So I've actually been playing king h1. And it might look crazy, but I'm really trying to follow these rules to a T. Eventually, if guys just develop like this and just go back and literally just take your pawn every single time and you never take it, that's something you can simply improve on. If you're having tons of losses because they're going like this and you're like, wait, I'm going king h1 every time, it's not working, you can improve on that. We've already talked about a game where somebody played the fried liver attack against me when I played with the black pieces and crushed me. He had a 99.7 accuracy game. He checkmated me in 10 moves. Now, I have to take a loss like that and learn from it. This is what I must do. Okay, for example, h3. This is basically what I said I was going to do next. He's going to check me. Am I going to sacrifice the rook? Nope, I'm not. Believe me, I want to. I want to, but I'm not going to sacrifice it. Just to follow the rules exactly. And what's going to happen is we're going to take a big L from this game probably. And then what we're going to do is we're going to analyze it. And we're going to see the engine say, dude, king h1, you're ridiculous. Just take and you're better. And that's something you have to commit to memory. There are a few things that if you don't learn from them, even at 400 ELO, if they happen in all your games, you're going to get killed. You're going to get destroyed. So you do have to learn one or two things and kind of say, okay, I'm not letting that happen again. Not letting that happen again. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to go, let's say rook here to play bishop there, to play rook there. That's what I usually do. That's what I usually do. And I'm still following my rules, even though I just like basically got destroyed here. Okay, he goes d5. It's a free pawn. I know this. I'm attacking it 3 times. I'm going to take with the knight. This is what I've pretty much always done. You start with the knight, and then you go with the bishop. If you're ever capturing something and you're going to capture it multiple times, usually you capture like first with like a knight, then a bishop, then a rook, then a queen. Okay, he goes here. Completely reasonable to go bishop e3. This is exactly what I was going to go for. g5 is actually hanging a pawn. I don't think it's crazy. You have your knight here. My next move, I was going to move this bishop. You click on the bishop, you see there's a dot over that pawn, and you're defending it with your knight. Absolutely not crazy to play bishop takes f6 here, or bishop takes g5 here. But I think if you played bishop e3 and took back, that's exactly what you want. f6. Am I going to take this? I don't know what a discovered attack is, aka we are not playing with tactics at 400 ELO. If you see a tactic, go for it. Go for it. If you see this tactic, you know, that's free pawn. But look, I see this as that's a pawn. If I take it with a piece, I'm going to lose it. So I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go back into the center as well. He's going to take. I'm going to take back with the rook. And you might see games like this, and you're like, man, this is insane. But think about an average 400 ELO player. They could totally play a game like this, like where you lose a queen. Not every game's going to go perfectly. I got destroyed over here. I lost my queen. But still, it's still a game. f5. You see my opponent? He's not developing any of his pieces. So he's still at risk as well. So I'm going to take this. That's an exchange. We always take exchanges. And the next thing that's opening up is the fact that I see 2 pieces attacking a center pawn. And I've always taken center pawns. That's one thing I've done. So I'm going to start again with the knight before the rook. We're going to take a center pawn. Now he's attacked my knight. Look, lots of beautiful squares to go to. But where am I going to go? I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to go for this is a tactic. I'm not into that right now. Knight c3. It's a move that controls center squares. Now, I probably didn't realize this was check. But hey, I don't have to know this is check. Knight c3 is just a good move. Follows our principles. Controlling the center. Generally, when we get attacked with our knights, we want to go back to squares that still attack the center. So we go knight c3. It is a check. He's going to have to get out of that. And what's my next move going to be? It's this rook. I have to get it into the middle. Rook d1 makes a lot of sense, but I don't think it's crazy to double rooks. In general, doubling rooks is a strong thing to do. You want to double rooks where possible. And if you notice, I already have my escape square for my king. So I'm not too worried here. Now, what have we talked about in the past? That once we've got sort of all our development done, our escape square for our king, it's time for the random pawn moves. a4. You just chuck a random pawn up the board. There's always a moment for that random pawn move. So there it is, a4. Queen g5. So he's threatening mate in 1. I think this is absolutely a move that could easily be missed. Because how do I defend this? According to some of the principles that I've been discussing, I don't think it's so easy. Rook g3 is not a move that I've really played so far in any of my positions. I've never really played this. In fact, in this position, what move would I probably do? I'd probably go d4 or knight e4 or something like that. But I think it's completely reasonable to play a move like d4. It's in the center. Queen g2 is missed, and we take an L. But you know what? That's an L we deserve to take, and that's a game we can learn a lot from. The reason we can learn a lot from that is exactly what I mentioned. This rook takes f2. Rook takes f2. This is something to learn from. Now, bishop takes f2 check. The computer calls a mistake. King h1 a mistake. Now, the reason it's a mistake, and you can see the evaluation already jumped to like almost +3. Almost +3. And I might sit here and I might learn from this and be like, okay, rook takes f2 is the best. And what's the material after this? Well, I've got 2 pieces for a pawn and a rook, essentially. 2 pieces for a pawn and a rook. And if you commit to memory that 2 pieces for a pawn and rook is good, that's exactly what you want to go for. Anytime you see this, or from white's perspective, anytime you see this, hitting that pawn, if you're castled, that's just something you learn is good. If you look what the engine says, it's +2. +2 is like you're up 2 pawns here. +2 is like you're up 2 pawns. So that's something we're just going to remember. Right? You see a game like this, and like I said, you should always analyze your losses. Bishop takes f2, question mark. And I might be like, oh, I didn't even realize I could take that. I thought about this. And then I'm going to see how I got destroyed. Lost my queen and everything. And believe me, I had many chances to win this game. Tons. Rook f2. Blunder, right? Horrible blunder. But in the end, it was a horrible blunder by me that resulted in checkmate. Now, what are the ways to defend checkmate? Rook g3 and rook g1, right? Those are the main ways to defend, or knight g4. Now, all of these moves are really weird. They don't seem to follow any patterns that I've outlined, any habits. And I think that all three of these moves are very strange. And in general, if you avoid playing moves like this in your chess games, it will benefit you more than it won't. It's not often that these moves are going to be good ones. Not often. But those are the ones that were necessary here to stop mate in 1. So obviously I'm going to look at this game and I'm going to learn, oh, I actually had to stop mate here. Is that going to help me in the future? Probably not. It's pretty rare that I'm going to be threatened with mate in 1 in a way like this. So it's not something I think I'm going to see 10 times out of 10. Absolutely not. However, this thing earlier, am I going to see this 10 times out of 10? Probably. This is very common. People love to bring their bishop and knight out and take this pawn. It's like the most popular thing. Now that I know that, like, okay, if someone does that, that's just a blunder. The engine just taught me that. Easy. I'm going to take that from now on. I'm going to take that from now on. New habit unlocked. So my point is, you follow these habits, you're going to get in some trouble. It's not going to be smooth sailing, but I think in the long term, it'll benefit you. Assist it all. Alex Don, thanks for the resubs, guys. Nitrous Oxide for 39 months. D4. You guys know what the vibe is. It's D5. It's D5. Bishop F4. I think we sort of play the moves we've been talking about. Knights. Then the bishop gets out to F5. This is the same stuff that we played last game. Everything so far has been attacking the center or controlling the center. So I'm playing these moves quickly because I think that you can also play them quickly. This bishop always goes here to attack the center, and we're not going to take back with the pawn. Double pawns looks weird. We're gonna take with the queen. Queen takes bishop back. Okay, he castles. We're just gonna take that. That's a trade. Immediately do that, and you know what? We're gonna castle ASAP. We'll see what he does. If he doesn't take back, that'd be a little strange. He does. We're gonna castle. Why was the attack with bishop and knight a blunder? Well, the pieces are better than the rook and the pawn, plain and simple. 2 pieces. If you have 2 pieces and your opponent has a rook and a pawn, most likely you have the advantage. Mathematically, it's even. It's about 6 points each. But the pieces can work together a lot better than a rook and a pawn. Knight there. I usually bring a rook to the middle. You guys have seen this game after game. And I don't usually attack a knight right away. I usually wait 1 move. It's not like I have to wait 1 move. I could just play h6, but it's not always necessary. So I'm saying it's sort of up to you. But he goes there. Now I'll definitely play h6. You guys know this. The knight cannot sit there for more than a move. That's for sure. And by playing h6, I've already got my escape square for my king. So that's fantastic. Knight h3. That's a trade. I can take that. So I'm going to take it. Now I'm going to go my queen up, my rook over. And that's sort of going to be the end of my, my development or my opening. And even at, 400 or 500 ELO, I've already got a pretty solid position here from not doing that much. Let's get my rook over. And all these moves are hopefully ones you can make fairly quickly. Decisions you can make quickly. Okay, he goes here. Again, none of his moves are actually attacking anything. So I'm not that scared of them. At this point, I've already got my king's escape square. It's time for a few random pawn moves. The A pawn is just going to be sent up the board. Queen e7, why not? Well, I usually go to d7 and d2 from both sides. It's usually where I go. But e7 and d7 are kind of interchangeable for where you put the queen. But I've been usually going queen d7, so I'm just sticking with that. Let's just play b6. Again, we've got everything else we want in the position. So after b6, we might start thinking about what to do. Again, if things could open up, that would be great. This knight probably needs to do something. It's at this point where you have to start improving your pieces. Difficult thing to explain, but we're gonna try to move our queen and our knight and basically stay towards the middle. Okay, he goes f5. Capture. We don't even have to think. If you can capture it, capture it. There we go. So we've taken that that pawn there. We've opened up the e-file. That's great for us. He plays queen there. What do you expect me to do, guys? I got the rook lined up. He just played queen there. This is not a difficult one. That's rook takes queen easily. And look, he even resigned. He even resigned. So we got a quick win there. A quick win there. We'll take it. Following those rules. We take those trades. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah, there might be people who play chess every day, Stephen O'Donoghue, and never improve. But remember, in chess, everyone's goal is a little bit different. Some people might never want to improve at chess. They just have the level that they are at, and they just like messing around and playing with their buddies. You don't have to play chess to improve. But if you want to play chess to improve, that's why we have this series. If that's your goal, then I think this will help. But it doesn't mean you have to. Absolutely not. Let's get another game. We won that game, so we played perfectly. We're a god. We have nothing to learn. Let's go. Do we get KOs in habits? Yes, we definitely do. We definitely do. But we have to set the bar, you know? What constitutes a KO? If that's a KO, then there's a lot of things that are KO. We have to still keep KO special, you know? Okay, so we play this move. He goes knight there. I've always talked about whatever knight he brings out, you bring the opposite one. So if he brings this, the knight controls this square and this square. What should we do in response? We should bring out this knight so it controls the same too. It's a good habit to get into. If he brings out this knight now, I'll then go knight there. Okay, so now I go knight f3. I expect him to do the same. And you see how the habits work for both sides. If I bring out this knight, control these two squares, he should do this to match that. And both guys will get their knights out, hopefully. Okay, he goes pawn there. I'm going to continue. You guys have seen this setup actually every single game so far. So hopefully this isn't a surprise, and that's why I'm playing these moves relatively quickly. He goes knight there. We're going to castle. ASAP. D3 is probably going to be my next move. But we'll see what he does. Again, if he goes something like this, you guys know we're going to trade it. You know that. There it is. We're going to trade that immediately. That's a capture, and it's a capture we've seen in a lot of games so far. A lot of games. Okay, let's play d3 again. And, you know, what I always try to point out is that the moves that I'm playing so far, I do not think they are, you know, insane moves. I'm playing the same first 10 moves almost every game. Really. Okay, bishop here. This square is not available. We're going to play the next bishop move that also attacks the center square. You know, that also does that. Let's play rook e1. This is sort of what I've been doing. d5. We know we're going to take it. And what's next? We're going to go queen d2. That's exactly what we're doing. And if you guys have been watching the previous session, I think there were 2 games, maybe 2 or 3, where we lost a piece to a fork. And this is, again, something that's something that you might want to commit to memory. We've lost probably about 4 or 5 games in this series to a fork. Now, maybe I actually ended up winning those games. But so what I mean is that we've had a lost position as a result of this. Okay, so I usually take. And I know that we've won a lot of games where we lose a piece, because believe me, that'll happen. It's not like the guy who wins the first piece of material wins the game. Absolutely not. Knight d5, it's not possible. So we're going to choose the next available central square. Why wouldn't I take with the knight first? Because I don't think it makes a lot of sense to, if the bishop and the knight are forked, I don't think it's very logical to use a piece that isn't attacked. At this ELO, you're going to be very reactive. Reactive means that if something is attacked, you're going to do something with the piece that's attacked. For example, in this position, I go here, I'm attacking his knight. It's very natural that he plays a move with his knight because the knight was sort of being attacked by my knight. So he's going to be reactive and play a move like this. Okay, I'm going to bring my rook to the middle. This is exactly how I've completed my development previously. So not changing anything here, even though I'm down a piece, still following the rules. Now he goes bishop here. He's hitting my queen. He's sort of skewering my queen and my rook. One random pawn move that we've definitely done is c3 in tons of games so far. And here it's actually necessary. It's necessary to save our material. Now, if we moved our queen, he would take our rook. It's not the end of the world. Still playing the game. But c3 is a move we've used before in order to deal with this. Now, if this bishop goes there and there was a knight here, I would play a3. And then he would probably take it and I would take back. But if the bishop goes here and there's no knight there, obviously you don't have to be playing a3 and h3. No tactics? Well, it applies to me, right? He's the one who did the skewer, not me. So I'm saying that if I was black, I wouldn't go there to attack the queen and rook because I can't use tactics. But of course, he can. He's not in my series. Okay, bishop c5. What's that, guys? That is a hanging piece. Always take those. Now, this is going to take you guys time to get used to because every single move that gets played, you are going to have to invest time and just like, you can even click all your pieces and just see where the dots are, where the legal moves are. Maybe that's a good habit to get into. I click my knight here. There's going to be a dot right on that bishop. That is a free piece. We have to take those. Those are part of the rules. We take every free piece that we're offered. Exactly. There's going to be tons of people winning with tactics against us. Okay, so we took a free piece. We've got everything in the middle. What's it time for? It's time for our little sneaky h3 move, so we never get back rank mated. So even though I just took a free piece, and I might be thinking about all these fun moves that I want to do, I have to remember, as soon as I've completed this development, that I have to get this h3 move in. It's really important. It's really important. b6. Knight's attacked. Where do I always want to go? Pretty much to the most central square possible. Knight e4. Knight e4. Okay, so the knight was attacked. We got to bring it somewhere, and we're always going to choose the most central square. In fact, we were just on that square, so we know it's safe. We know it's safe. So now that I've got this, what's coming up next, guys? What's coming up next? Oh, he's offered me a trade. Well, I'll have to take a trade. We have to take a trade. So we took a trade. Knight takes back. Again, our pawn's hanging here. I've always said that if you can play pawn moves in the center, when it comes time for your random pawn move, you absolutely want to play in the center. So I don't think d4 is crazy here at all. If we sort of had like a position like this, and somehow it was time for my random pawn move, believe me, it would be something more like a4. Like if this knight wasn't attacked or whatever, it would be something more like a4, because I simply can't push pawns in the center. But if your random pawn move time is you can move a pawn in the center, like these pawns, I'm going to move these before I make a move like a4, because they have to do with the center a lot more. So these moves are always going to be preferable. Any pawn, like here, I would say that the type of pawn you're moving as you get further and further away from the center is sort of less and less valuable stuff. Convenient d-pawn chuck to avoid the tactic? Well, you can say convenient, or you could just say, hey, great rules, Aman. You really set me up for success. You really set me up for success with these awesome rules. Okay, he goes here. It's time for more random pawn pushes. Might do this one next. Random pawn move only if it doesn't blunder that pawn? No, absolutely not. Pawns can be hung. Pawns can be hung. Well, you guys are going to tell me I'm trolling by playing a4? I'm not controlling the moves he's playing. I said I was going to play this, this, and this. And I played 1, 2, and 3. And look at that. All my pawns are defended. Great rules, Aman. Oh my god. You're so good at creating rules that help us find successfully good moves. Look at that. All my pawns are protected. Wow. Okay, he goes knight d3. Sure, he's hitting my rook. Where can my rook go? Central move. Looks great. This move is away from the center. This move hangs the rook for free. It's in the rules. We cannot do that. Taking. The knight takes back. We're losing material there. So we must go rook e3. We must go rook e3. Right there. I think moves like knight e5, knight in the center of the board, and also d5 make a lot of sense. So those are the two moves I'd be considering here. Let's say we go d5. Knight e5 and d5 are both central moves, getting the knight involved at a better square, pushing the pawn in the center. Can't hate on those. He goes b5. That's simply a free pawn, so, I mean, we are going to take it. And what have I always said about captures? Capture towards the middle. Always capture this way until you get here, and then you start capturing this way if you're on the other side of the board. But always capture towards the middle. Am I going to play pawn? No, of course not. I don't know what all pass-on is. I have no clue. Even goes pawn there. Who knows what I'm going to do? Maybe that knight e5 move from previous. Maybe a knight e5 move from previous. a4 and a little flag ski. A little flag ski. We go down here. Let's get a quick analyze on that. What went wrong? Well, you guys know what went wrong, and we're going to make sure we remember this. One thing that has been the cause of a lot of my losses so far, number one, it was the fried liver attack. Number two, it was as white or as black, just bringing the pieces here and taking on f7, and me not being able to take back. So we learned those things, and now what's the most important thing is this is happening all the time. This fork is happening all the time. Now, to me, there's two main ways to get out of this fork, let's say. Number one would be to move one of these pieces. Number two would be to push this pawn. Push this pawn. I don't think it's crazy to play this move. It pushes a pawn in the center of the board. Very okay. And the other thing is, sure, we can move one of these pieces. Let's say this bishop could go back to d2. But I think the more natural thing, following the rules a little bit more, is sort of d4. You know, gets in the center of the board, controls some squares, and it's very clearly supported by the pieces. So I think a rule to sort of get in the habit of trying to do is that when our opponent, and this is very common, we'll have these pieces like this, or as black, we'll have them like that. When our opponent is threatening to push his pawn up and fork us, we can push our pawn up to stop it. d4. But this is very common. This happens a lot. Now, if d4 is not available, obviously one thing we have to be conscious of is, let's say d4 is not available, we have to be conscious that he can still play d4, and this threat still exists. So let's say for some reason we can't do this, we're going to have to move our piece. We might not like it, but we're not going to improve blundering the exact same tactic, 10, 20 times in a row. 10, 20 times in a row. So we might miss this tactic if it happens on a different square, but the thing is it's happening on the exact same square, d4 or d5, every single game. And you know why? It's because we see this every single game. Bishop e6, it happens all the time. Taking, pawn takes, they play d5 and d4. It's very, very common. So things that you see all the time, you can definitely take a time out and say, okay, let me get on top of that move. Let me get on top of that. And we can see, as soon as this happens, something that we've been doing habitually, if the evaluation just goes way down, you're like, wait a minute. No, this is something I need to take care of. d4 is going to destroy me every time if I allow it. So that's one thing we're going to keep an eye on. Specifically d5 for white or d4 for black, forking our two pieces on those squares, because we're often going to have pieces on those squares. Hey guys, just a reminder that Building Habits is going to be a regular series on our YouTube channel, so make sure to get subscribed if you are not already. Drop a comment down below for the algorithm, and let me know what you thought about the video. See you next time.